India's rich culture heritage is well showcased by UNESCO's list of intangible culture heritage. Recently, UNESCO has added one more entry to this, and we are going to discuss what is intangible culture, and then we'll talk about this entry, and then we'll talk about the whole list also. So let's begin with the topic. So the news was recently UNESCO has added one more entry to this prestigious list, and Durga Puja becomes entry number 14 to this complete list. Though Durga Puja is dominantly celebrated in West Bengal region, but it is not limited to that. That's a one point, very important point, because if we talk about the various other variations or the ways through which this festival is celebrated, then we can understand that it is celebrated throughout India. For example, Navratras in the North India, Garba and Dandiya in the West, and accordingly through various ways like Mysore Dasara also we can include in this celebration. So let's talk about this list also, and first talk about the various components of the intangible culture heritage. So regarding the components, that what is basically what we can basically call the intangible culture heritage, we can include 4 parts. That's as per the UNESCO's website also, and as per the UNESCO. So the things which are inclusive in nature, whether it is festival, whether it is dance, whether it is vocal and otherwise, it should be inclusive of first thing, that it should be inclusive, and then inclusive in what manner, that it should be community based, or it should cover or it should be a reflection of the complete society also. So first it should be inclusive, and then it should be community based, and third it should be representative also, that it should represent the culture of that region. For example, if you are talking about India, then the entry or the entry which we are going to add into it, it should kind of present in that particular way. And similarly, there is one more thing, that is traditional, contemporary and living at the same time. So that means as the entry which we are going to have in this list should have this feature, that it had been in the it had been celebrated or been part of the history also, and it is still celebrated or as part of the contemporary time also. So these are all the component, or these are basic characteristics which makes entry to make into this list of intangible culture heritage. So this is the main 4 pillars of to be called as intangible culture heritage, and let's talk about what can be the various varieties of it. So if we divide in that way, so there are 5 different categories through which we can add entries into it, or we can add into this list. So first is, that is the vocal tradition. It can have entry like Vedas also, like kind of a song also, kind of a vocal tradition also, that is all vocal tradition also, that is part of oral tradition. Now some performing arts like dance, drama and all, they are part of the performing arts. So that entries coming for that direction is part of this. Now third is, that is regarding the social practices. Social practices means whether it is some kind of tribal practice or some kind of a painting also we can have into this, festivals, rituals and all, they are also comprises in this become of the intangible culture heritage. And the knowledge skill, for example, the tribals have different way of making various tools, and accordingly there are various ways of making utensils also, specifically the bronze utensils. So they are part of this component. And then the knowledge and the practice of concerning nature and universe. So when we see various literature and all talking about preservation of nature and the various skill associated with that, we comprise in this specific component. So as per UNESCO, and specifically as per the UNESCO's 2013 Convention for the Safeguarding of Intangible Culture Heritage, these should be the 5 different categories to be added into in this list. So this is the main components through which we are having the entry from India also. So if we have 14 entries or 14 items into this list, so they have come from all these directions. Now talking further about the UNESCO's initiative. So in this initiative of UNESCO and 2003's convention, the list is basically comprises of 3 different parts. First part is the culture heritage which are in need of urgent safeguard. That is one. That it should be there are some entries which need the specific safeguarding measures from the international and the national level administrations, and then accordingly it should be associated with the humanity. So the it should be very much important for the humanity also, whether it is paintings or whether it is any other kind of a form of heritage. So that is also here. And then there is one more list, that is register for safeguarding practices. That is basically a good initiatives being taken by the central governments or the national governments and state governments also. They kind of link them, or they kind of make a separate list for them, so that the others can be given a boost, or the other can be motivated to put their effort for the preservation of the culture heritage. So these are the three lists basically. So let's come to the other part of the topic, that is the list from India. So regarding the list from India, the recent entry is Durga Puja, and it is entry number 14. So in total now entries from India are 14. So it can be a question in your examination also. So after including Durga Puja, which was just added this week, so Durga Puja is entry number 14, and in total now India has 14 entries in this prestigious list from India. Now as I said regarding Durga Puja, though it is celebrated specifically in the Bengali community, but it is not limited to Bengal. It is celebrated throughout India through various different ways. Now this is not only specifically a puja. It has various other components, because there will be dance around this puja, then there will be various kind of a food being prepared, craft whether it is the sculpture being made and all. So they all comprise of this festivities. So this is all the festivities are it has various components, whether it is dance, whether it is music, rituals, practices, and the food, the very tasty and delicious food which is served during this festival, and especially the sweets. So this is the entry number 14. So let's start by the let's go by the list now. So the first entry from India was in 2008, and the first entry was Vedic, the Vedic chantings. Initially we know that they have been passed on from one generation to another through the means of a vocal process. So there you need to have a proper pronunciation and proper sound or swar for pronunciating a specific word or specific rhyme of Vedas. So this tradition is being regarded very high, because it is considered the Vedas are the oldest books of the world also. It is among the oldest book of the world. And when we talk about Vedas basically comprise of 4 Vedas, that is Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Athar Veda and Ayurveda. Your Yajurveda. So these are the mainly 4 components of the Vedas which are part of this whole list, or which are basically comprised of the complete Vedas. So the dates vary, but in general we say that the Vedas were being composed 3500 years ago, and they deal with everything, whether it is a debate on the universe, whether it is regarding God, whether it is regarding a practice of various rituals, whether it is regarding the how to pronunciate in the rhythmic way, which is basically the objective of the Sam way. So this is all given in these books. But the Vedas are being so old and not being preserved well earlier. Now presently in India we just say that there are only 13 of Vedic recitations are available in original, and there are various schools which deals with this, that is Maharashtra school, Kerala, Karnataka and Odisha school. So these are the 4 main schools which has preserved this heritage well. So this is the entry number 1, which was the first entry from India, that is Vedic chanting. Now similarly we have various other entries also, like Koodiyattam. Koodiyattam was also been added along with the Vedas itself, or Veda chanting itself, in 2008, and it is basically a theatrical tradition. It is a kind of a theatre which includes which includes two main components of a performer, that is one is the nritya abhinay, and then is netra abhinay and the hasta abhinay. So basically this comprises of two parts, that is dance also and drama also. So the performer use both the things by his eye movements and face gestures and hand movements. It depict or present the various mythological stories given in the various texts also. So this is from for the exam purpose if I talk. So the things which is required or which can be asked from the exam, that is in which year this Koodiyattam been added in the list, which is the specific state, that is Kerala, and what are the various specifications with respect to this, whether it is nritya, netra abhinay or the hasta abhinay, and similarly the one more specific thing, that where it is performed. So it is performed in Kuttampallam, or Kuttampallam is the place in the temple where it is performed. Now going to entry number 3, that is Ramlila. Ramlila performed mainly in the North India, and specifically the Ayodhya region is very popular for Ramlila. It is a state sponsored program, so it is widely celebrated also. Then Banaras, and then according Ramnagar and Almora are also, or Uttarakhand is also known for these performances. These performances are basically the kind of a presentation of the stories from the Ramayana on the stage. So it is a kind of a drama being played by various characters. So this is the entry which has been added in 2008. Now next, Ramman. Ramman is been added in 2009. It is a kind of a performance which is around Chaitya month of Hindu calendar, and mainly performed in Uttarakhand. So it is basically for the Devi and Devik purposes. So in that context it deals with, and so if we talk about the specifications, so it basically worship the Bhumiyal Devtas, because Himachal or Uttarakhand we specifically consider that it is a Dev Bhumi, and there are various festivities and various festivals, dance and rituals associated with it, and Bhumiyal Dev is accordingly celebrated there in the state of Uttarakhand, and there are various kind of dresses associated with, that is also given here. Now going further, that is entry number 5, that is entry number 5, that is Chhau dance. It has been added in 2010. It is a folk dance, and in this folk dance the performer wears a mask also. So these mask has a depending upon the character, the mask varies, and it is mainly celebrated in the villages of the eastern states, in your northeastern state of Manipur specifically. There it is celebrated. Now the subject or these characters are from the Ramayana and Mahabharata, and there are some instruments. Sometimes UPSC asks about the instruments also, so you need to understand about the instruments also, that is Shehnai and Mohri. Mohri is are the two main components which are mainly used here, and as I said, it is performed around the Chaitya Parv. So this is also associated with the specific occasion. Now entry number 6, that is Kalbelia song and dance. It is Kalbelia is basically earlier been performed by a specific community, which is a snake charmers community. So you must have seen some instrument also associated with the snake charmers. That is, one is your pungi, and other is khijeri. Let me show you the images also of those. So this is the pungi, which is used as a music instrument here, and this is the khanjeri. So these are, it is kind of a dapli which you must have seen, and this is a kind of a dance performance which you can see on the screen. So this has been also added here with a very much glaze and all. So this was added in 2010, and then the next entry number 7 is Mudiyettu. Mudiyettu was also added in 2010, and it is basically a theatre which is mainly popular in Kerala, and again depict the mythological stories, specifically the Kali and the demon, how she kills demon Marika. so sorry, Darika. So this is how, which is represented here. And if when we talk about the performances, whether it is dance performance or some kind of a drama being performed, they are mainly in the specifically in the south, they are mainly performed in the temples. So there are specific regions, whether it is mandap or otherwise, there are specific areas where it is performed. So when we talk about this Mudiyettu, it is performed in Bhagavati Kavyus. Bhagavati Kavyus. So this is the place where it is performed. So these are the keywords which you need to remember for the exam purpose. Now entry number 8, that is Buddhist chanting. Buddhist chanting was added in 2012, and they have a unique way of chanting the various rhymes, and they are mainly done in the your trans Himalayan region, specifically the Ladakh region, the northern Uttarakhand region, and the your Arunachal Pradesh region. So they are the basically main regions where it is performed, and there are some instruments associated with it also, that is drum, cymbals and trumpets. So these are the main instruments which you can see. This is kind of a drum which is used for the performance, and then the cymbals is here. We can see the cymbals here also. So these are the main instrument being used in this chanting. Sankirtan is a very was basically, if we associate this art or the style of doing the bhajan and kirtan, then we can associate it with the bhakti saint, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it has been because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was pushing this movement in the West Bengal region. So there it is mainly popular, and this Sankirtan is also very much popular in the northeastern states also. So here in the list it is taken from the Manipur region, and it is kind of a story and tales which is depicted in this Sankirtan of Krishna. So Krishna, and then of course it will be Vaishnava community. So this is the entry number 9. Now going to entry number 10, that is brass and copper craft of making utensils, which has been added in 2014. Now in 2014 this entry is very much important. Why? Because in India the brass utensils are not otherwise a recent thing. Brass are being used since very long, since the ancient time period also. We get some example in the Vedic age also, and before that we get some artifacts in Harappan civilization also. So it's a very old tradition. So that's what we say, that intangible culture heritage comprises of one important component, that it should be in the past and it should be practiced in the contemporary time also. So it is such a art which has been in India for a very long period, and here we are specifically referring to this art in Punjab. So this is the Punjab region, and there we say that copper and bronze all are being used here in a various ways, and this is one example. They are make very beautiful utensils with a very limited tools and very limited use of machines and all. Now entry number 11, that is yoga. Yoga we are all know as a mode of exercise, or as a mode of physical well-being and all, but it is more of in the original form it is more of a combination of both, that is for your mind, for your soul and for your body. So these are the three main aspects of the yoga performance, and that's why it has been flourishing like anything throughout the world, and specifically after declaration of after declaration and acceptance of yoga as an international day also. So this has been added in 2016, and the Yoga International Day is celebrated on 21st June. So these are the important things which you need to remember about yoga and various asanas and also. Now talking about the entry number 13, that is Nowruz. Nowruz is a New Year festival celebrated in the Parsi community specifically, and if we talk about region, so it has a wide it is celebrated widely, whether it is in the Central Asia, Northern Asia also, and Indian subcontinent. So it is widely celebrated in India. In India, it begins with the Delhi Sultanate. So it is widely celebrated. So I have given the list of those countries also, which are where mainly the Nowruz is celebrated. So talking about the last entry number 13, that is Kumbh Mela, which happens every 4 years. The Mahakumbh, basically Mahakumbh happens every 4 years, and it is seems to be a largest congregation of the humans on the earth. So this is this is also been added in this list, and these all entries of course qualify all the requirements of the world UNESCO, which we have just discussed. So these are the lists which you need to remember, and these are the keywords which you need to remember for your exam purpose. So go through this list. I will share this PPT PDF in the Telegram portal also, Telegram channel also. So go through that list and make note of by yourself also, so that if any question comes in examination, you are well prepared and thoroughly prepared for this. Thank you so much. This is Deepak Thakur signing off for today.